That's fine, yeah, lovely. Thanks very much. Thank you, Johnny. Okay, hi everybody. So there I was, sitting feeding my newborn baby. My little boy was sleeping next to me, and I thought, what on earth have I got myself into here? Hello, come on in. We've just started, you're okay. And I thought to myself, what have I done? I now have 2 children under the age of 3, and I'm building a business. And if I thought I had limited time before, I really have tiny time now. And I thought to myself, this is not going to be easy. How am I going to do this? How am I going to cope? How hard is this going to be with 2 children depending on me? And I had all these thoughts running through my head. And I just stopped myself and I thought, hold on a minute, you're asking yourself the wrong question. Instead of asking myself, how hard is this going to be, I really needed to be thinking and asking myself, how easy can I make this? And this is really what I want to share with you this evening in my presentation, is about how you can actually turn your tiny time into big results. Because in the time that I've been in business for about 2.5 years now, I've been able to achieve a lot. Like the political parties always say, you know, lots done, more to do. But in that time, I had an 18-month-old. I've had a baby in the meantime as well. But I've been able to grow my reach across the world. Got people who are following me in Australia, America, South America, Africa. It's been fantastic in that respect. But I've really had to learn about how I can make this a lot easier for myself and not get myself all twisted because I just haven't got a huge amount of time. And that's really what I want to share with you, about how you can turn your tiny time into big results. So just a little bit about me. Before I started my business, I was working in the corporate world for about 12 years. And I was a trainer and a coach, and my last role was as Vice President of Leadership Development. And in that time, I was working with CEOs and executives and leaders really at all levels of the spectrum. And I was helping them to be more effective. And this is exactly what I find myself doing in my business now, and really helping people who are raising families and building businesses. Now, you might be sitting here thinking, I don't fit into that. But really, essentially, my message today is going to be around tiny time. So you're in the right place if you're juggling childcare, other commitments. You might even have a full-time job as you try and get your business up and running. You're feeling overwhelmed. You find it hard to get things done. You're tired. Your demanding life is taking its toll on you. You find it hard to switch off. Anybody have that feeling that you go into bed and you're still running through your to-do list, making tomorrow's to-do list and thinking, oh, still got to do that. I'm really bad for it because I can hear my phone buzzing, and even though I've put it in a drawer, I hear the buzz and I think, wonder what that is, I better go and check it, even as I'm trying to go to sleep. So I understand what it's like to feel it. You know, it's hard to switch off. Oh. And that was a beautifully planted moment. You know, your to-do list is just growing and growing and growing and growing. And you might be at the point in your business where you're starting to lose the passion. You're starting to lose the will. You're thinking, why did I start this? Because having your own business, growing a business, takes a lot of time and takes a lot of effort. And it's about taking that effort and taking all the things that we want to do and really create that amazing result without losing ourselves in it. If you have children, if you have family, if you've got people who depend on you, they don't want to see your head stuck in the office the whole time or in the phone, as I just recently read a Facebook post, which I won't mention now. So tonight, we're going to be looking at the 3 biggest mistakes that keep you time poor, 3 ways that you waste time without even realizing it, why limited time is not the problem, and I'm going to show you 3 simple ways to make your tiny time super productive and super profitable. This is a bit of a magic of 3 going around today, so that's what I'm going to be sharing with you. Okay. So, let's get straight into it. What are the 3 biggest mistakes that keep you time poor? The belief that the more time you spend in your business, the more money you will make. Anybody have that belief? Do you ever believe that you have to be working all the time really to create that income? okay, it's a safe environment. You can raise your hand.
You used to think that.
Yeah, absolutely. If you think about if you had a job previous to starting a business, that's exactly what we did. We exchanged our time for money. I went to a job for 40 hours a week, got paid for it. And that's how I came to business, with that mindset of thinking, okay, so I've got to work 40 hours to get that income coming in. And I realized actually, well, I've got my little boy, and he was 18 months, so he was running around like a lunatic, and I was thinking, I haven't got 40 hours of dedicated time. But I was so much in that mindset that I have to exchange my time for money. And I've worked with mentors and coaches for a long time, and this was something that was a real radical mindset shift for me around the fact that I shouldn't physically have to be present for me to be able to make money. So to give you an example about how I make that work in my business right now, I have a members club. So people can join this members club, and each week they get 5-minute chunks of productivity tips, ideas about how they can really power up their business. I give them a real mixture of great value and lots of content. Now, they get 3 of those 5-minute chunks each week. So over the week, they get 15 minutes of really powerful content. Over the month, that's an hour's worth. And for that, they pay £1 to begin with, for like a trial, for the first month, and they pay £9.99 for each month after that. So less than £10, and they get some fantastic content about how they can really turn their tiny time into big results. But once that content has been created by me, it doesn't matter when people sign up and join the club, they still get the fantastic content. I don't ever physically have to be present to be able to make income from that club. Does that make sense? So what I've done in my business is created a number of different revenue streams that means that I don't actually physically have to be present. And for somebody who only has 3 hours to work in her business every day, the time that my son is at crash, that means the world to me. I still have my baby girl with me, so she's rolling around in the office. If you ever watch any of my Google Hangouts, you'll see that sometimes she makes an appearance because she decides that she doesn't want to take a nap. But this is something that can really keep you very time poor and trapped in that idea that I need to keep exchanging my time for money. Now, if your business model means that you physically have to be present, it's not to say that there's no way around it and you're thinking, it just wouldn't work for my business. It's thinking about, well, how can I make this work? What are some of the different things that we could do? Every business has that potential, absolutely every single business, and I've seen it work in so many different industries and so many different types of businesses. It absolutely can. But we need to move away from this idea that you need to be present to make money. Because truthfully, your time is really valuable. And when you're working in your business, for people to work with you one-on-one, to get you, that should be at a premium. Okay? Second mistake, thinking, if only I had more time. Anybody think that? Yeah, some of you are willing to admit to it, but some of you, no, I'm fine. Everybody, have you ever said that to yourself? If only I had more time. If only I had more time. If only I had more time. It starts to grate after a while, doesn't it? It starts to really get quite annoying because it's like a mantra that you're saying to yourself over and over again, but it's not making you feel better. It's actually making those anxiety levels rise. It's making the stress levels rise because you're thinking, if only I had more time, I could get this project. I could take on that extra client. I could do more with this business. I could write that book. How many of you want to write a book in this room? If only I had more time. And yet, it's not actually the amount of time that is the key the distinguisher. It's actually what we do with that time that makes the biggest difference. And when you're really clear about what you're going to use your time for, that's when miracles really start to happen. Instead of just thinking that I'm really busy, I look at my big to-do list, I've got 20 different things, and great, you're going to be really busy, but are you actually creating results that you are proud of? And then, the third one, biggest mistake. You're trying to do too much? How many of you do actually have limited time in your business? Do you work all the time? Good bit of it, yeah. The truth is, when we think about limited time, it's not just about the hours that you could work, but it's actually all the things that you want to do with your life as well. You know, there's probably part of you that's thinking, God, I'd love to go and do some more traveling, or I'd love to be able to spend time with my family or my loved ones. And so it's not necessarily those day-to-day challenges, but it's actually about structuring your business in such a way that means that you can actually do more with less time. And one of the biggest things that I see a lot of my clients do is they try to do too much. They just spread themselves so thin with lots and lots of different projects. I'd highly recommend you check out my Google Hangout from this morning where I talk about what happens when you've just got lots and lots of ideas in your business. You know, when you're thinking, oh, I could do this, and 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 I could do this. And the problem is you're diffusing your attention to too many different things. And when you have limited time, you just don't have that luxury. And truthfully, I don't think anybody wants to work all the time. You know, you want to be able to kick back, relax, go and watch a film, you know, go and check out the carnival, go and play on the fun fair, whatever it might be. You don't actually want to be working all the time. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love what I do, but I also have other things that I want to do with my life, but I don't want our financial income and our financial well-being to be at the detriment of that. Does that make sense? You with me? Okay. Okay, so when you're trying to do too much, that will really stress you out. When you're not clear on what your big wins are in your business, around this is exactly what I'm going to focus on. You know, we're in June already. I can't believe that we're in June already. But you're thinking, okay, what's the next 6 months going to look like? And if you're just trying to do too much, are you setting yourself up for a fall for the rest of the year? And then you can come to the end of 2014 and you think, I didn't really get a lot achieved. I feel like I've been really busy, but I don't feel like I've achieved a lot. And I see that this is one of the biggest mistakes that people do make. So, let's talk about money and time drainers. Does anybody have any questions before I move on to the next piece? You're all with me? Yeah? Okay. So let's talk about money and time drainers. So what are the things that you do on a regular basis that drain your time away and also drain your money away? So the first one, something called browser blackout. Have you ever found that you go onto Facebook, you start looking at something, click a link here, click a link there, oh, half an hour has passed, an hour has gone, oh crap, I haven't done anything yet, and you're just so busy consuming all this content that other people have created. And we all do it. I defy anybody not to put their hand up and say they don't do this. Come on, put your hand up. Do you do this? I do it. Yeah, absolutely. With all my best intentions, I absolutely do it because I want to know what's going on. And Leon, I'm going to pick on you because you did talk about this. Leon has just put a post up about how he gave up Facebook for a week. And I could just so relate because he said, you know, when you log on to Facebook and you want to see who's clicked like on your posts and things like that, you just want to know and you want to have a little chat with people. Now, I rationalize it and say, well, I'm a mum at home, you know, with 2 kids, I need adult company, and yeah. I tell myself lots of stories to justify the time that I do spend on Facebook. But browser blackout is something that is so powerful in taking you away from what it is that you need to be doing. You know, when you do look at the clock and you think, oh, God, okay, now I'm feeling really under pressure. Now I really need to get things done. And browser blackout it's not just about getting things done. It's actually about losing the quality of life that we have because we get so busy into watching videos and doing those little quizzes and things like that that we actually start just to forget that actually it's taking up a lot of our time. You know, sometimes we might do that in front of the TV. That's another way of actually losing a lot of time. And again, it's not time to get things done, but it's about time to actually think about what it is that you want to create in your life, not just about ticking something else off your to-do list. So browser blackout, I think, is... Go on, James. You're shaking your head. Are you sure? You're going to say something? Okay. The next time drainer that I think is really powerful is when you just take too long. with some tasks. Okay? Let me explain this one a little bit more. What I mean by this is if you said, I'm going to write an article, maybe you're writing an article for the local paper, or you want to create a video for your YouTube channel, or you've got to write a report, for example, and you think, I've got to sit down, and in your head you're thinking, this is going to take me hours. This is going to take me hours. And it's like you set yourself up to actually spend hours doing it. Now, there's something called a Parkinson's law, and it talks about how work expands to fill the time allotted to it. So to give you an example, when I record videos, it could be a 2-minute video, and sometimes that will take me 2 hours for a 2-minute video because, oh, I fluffed my lines there, or I didn't like the way my hair looked, and then, oh, I forgot to put lipstick on. Whatever it might be, it could take me 2 hours to do a 2-minute video. And when I discovered Parkinson's law, I thought, okay, hold on a minute. I'm going to give myself 30 minutes to get this video done. Shot and done, and boom, that's it. And you know what? It worked. I set myself a task of writing a blog post for my weekly blog. I say, I'm going to spend 30 minutes writing this. I have a framework, I know what I want to say, and I get it written. Some people, it can take a long time to write a blog post, or it can take a long time to create a video. Think about examples that are relevant for your business, and think about some of the tasks that you do that maybe take a little bit longer than you expect them to, or that you'd like them to. Does anybody have any examples? Perhaps in your own business. Come on, you've got to talk to me. Go on, some examples of maybe a task that just takes you longer than you'd like. Writing up letters?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how long does that take you, Joe?
Well, awkward letters. You're trying to get your point across.
Yes, Nuala.
I think sometimes if, working for oneself, could wake up one morning and be very lethargic and have no motivation for the day. But I think if you have decided the night before on paper, in points, what you are going to have done by lunchtime, and then tick them as you go, that will save that morning. The list will bring you along, whereas your own motivation wouldn't have.
Yes, absolutely. That's a really good point, because we all wake up sometimes and think, oh, can I just get back into bed, please? I'm really not in the mood today. That's a really good point, Nuala. I'm glad you brought that up.
Well, self-motivation, it can be difficult, I think, when you're working for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
When you go into the 9-to-5 scenario, well, what's there in front of you?
You're just going, yeah.
Really handheld.
Yeah.
But here, I feel that hand-holding can be done by having the points in front of you and go along. Yeah.
I think it's a really good point as well, Nuala, because what I find is I do the same thing the night before, and it just clears my head before I go to sleep. Have you ever found that you woke up in the middle of the night and you've just been going through your to-do list? And you're like, oh, I haven't done that, haven't done that, haven't done that. Oh, I took that. Some mornings I wake up exhausted because I've been working all night long on my to-do list in my subconscious. And I'm thinking, what is all that about? So now I've just taken to writing it down and thinking, okay, now I know what I need to get done tomorrow, and I feel a lot more calmer. Anybody else? Any other tasks?
I find it's some of the logistical things. I do a blog and video every week, and it's actually uploading the video. How slow is the internet? Getting things onto my autoresponder. Oh, I have to put the image in. Oh, I have to find the link. I was shocked when I timed how long that took. Because on my to-do list, that was like, oh, well, you can get that out in 20 minutes. Not a chance. And I'm trying to get quicker and quicker, but physically, to actually do, to link the blog with this and to link the video back to there and to write a little description, there is actually a physical length of time that I find I can't do it quicker than. But it did surprise me when I timed it. Because before I was like, oh, well, that's a couple of hours. And when I timed it, I went, oh, no, it's not. By the time all the components are in place.
Absolutely. And I think that's a really good point, because I've been sat there sometimes going, oh, this internet, it's driving me around the bend. Why is the YouTube taking so long? And, and that can be a source of frustration, absolutely. I think one of the key things, though, is we stop ourselves when we're about to shoot that video. I know I was the worst because I was like, oh, I haven't washed my hair today. Or, oh, do you know what, I had a really bad night with the baby last night. Today's not a good day to do it. And you're thinking, you just need to get it out there. Nobody pays a blind bit of attention to any of that stuff except us. Do you agree? We're our own worst critics sometimes. We really are. And I completely agree with you that, sometimes it just takes longer. And sometimes it's about factoring that in, knowing that that's going to take you a bit of time to upload, and then multitasking in terms of just moving your attention over to something else whilst the YouTube is uploading, so you're not just sitting around waiting and getting more and more annoyed because the internet is taking so long. But Parkinson's law can be really powerful. And actually, I want to pick up on a point there, Ferris, as well, is actually I was talking to one of my VIP clients today, and one of the interesting things she said to me was, I need to work on my website. And I said, that's great. What specifically on your website? If you have that on your to-do list, work on website, you could be there into kingdom come. Because what you're falling into the trap of doing is actually not distinguishing between what is a project and what is an action. So if you're going to work on a website, for example, I need to get my contact form, or I need to get my images ready. Something very tangible and specific, rather than something that just says, I need to work on my website. And that was the first thing that just jumped out at me, because I thought, that doesn't make any sense. You could be tinkering around, and I know I've tinkered around with my website a long time, and then you think, what are you doing? But it's like a browser blackout where it's like you get into a hypnotic trance and you don't even realize it, and you're thinking, oh, where did that time go? So taking too long with tasks. So here's my challenge for you when you're back at your desks tomorrow, or later this evening for some of you, I'm sure, is think about, okay, I've got to get these emails written. I've got 5 emails to write. Or Joe, if you've got a letter to write, time yourself and say, I'm going to give myself 20 minutes. I think you'll be surprised, because actually it has been a massive time saver for me. So I write a blog weekly, so that's 4 blogs, and I give myself half an hour to do each one. Block that time out, and I've actually got the 4 blogs written at the beginning of the month, and then I just have to upload them each week. It will save you a huge amount of time. So taking too long with tasks. The disappearing muse. Now what I mean by this, have you ever sat and thought, I'm not feeling it today. I'm not feeling very inspired. Do you know what, I'm really tired today. Probably need another cup of coffee before I'll really get going. Maybe I might just take a little walk. Maybe I might just go and get a coffee. I'm just not feeling it right now. And for some reason, this always happens when you've got a big project on, or you're going to go and write your blog post, or you're going to record a video. I'm just not feeling it. And it's like you're waiting for inspiration to hit you and say, Ferris, you're going to be inspired today to create this video. James, you're going to write this blog. Nuala, you're going to write this book today. And it just doesn't happen, does it? Have you ever been hit by inspiration like that? Have you ever been hit with a bolt of lightning inspiration? Hands up those who have. Great. Does it happen all the time? No. And that's one of the keys about productivity, is it's not going to happen every single time. Now, you will be, how should I put it, I believe that you'll be divinely guided to create something. You always have that little voice in you, whether it's your intuition or whatever you believe. But you're not necessarily going to feel inspired to write amazing blog posts or create amazing videos or create amazing furniture every single time. So the key thing is to remember that you're not going to feel that bolt of inspiration. And instead of letting that disappearing muse allow you to procrastinate, think, okay, you're not here right now, but I'm going to make a start anyway. I was at a course in the UK in January, and I had to create a lot of content and sales pages and emails, and I was looking at and it was a 3-day course, and I was looking at the guy and said, I can't write this. He says, you've got 10 minutes to write that sales page, and I said, no, can't do it. No, this takes me ages. This will take me ages. It'll take me days to write a sales page. And he says, you've got 10 minutes. I was like, flip yeah. I wrote, I just kind of went mad typing away, and he says, okay, you can have another 5 minutes, but that's it. And I actually read it back, and I went, do you know what, that's actually not bad. And I think it's just we trick ourselves into thinking that we need to spend a lot of time on things to make it really good. Now, I went back at some stages and just tweaked it and changed a few things, but I had the bulk of it down. And that actually was a huge sense of relief for me, because I thought, I've already got it. You know, the pieces just might need to be a little bit tweaked here and there, but I actually had it. So really do give yourself the permission to create crap. Because unless you do lots of creating all the time, you're not going to get the good stuff really coming through. You know, the more you practice, the more you do of something, the better you'll get at it. Okay? Any questions so far? No? Any thoughts? Yeah?
When I see the taking too long with tasks, one thing that I never learned was the touch type. And I think if I was to give any advice to anybody setting up a business, I would say that's the first thing I would say to learn. Because that's the one thing when I actually have a business partner at the moment, and the amount of work she gets through, I'm actually dictating to her, and she's flying through, like I'd say, about 5 times more content than I would do purely because I'm slower on typing. So that was, when I see it's taking me too long with tasks, that would be.
That's a really good one, actually, yeah.
I teach us to type
Yay! It's a win. Yeah, that's a really useful hint, actually. So some of the things that we think about. And if you're not a writer, then a lot of times, you know, using things like voice recorders, which actually really help you to record your ideas. And there's some fantastic resources out there that will help you transcribe and, you know, do some amazing things with your business. So it doesn't all have to be done by you. So going back to my previous screen about trying to do too much, you don't actually have to do all of those things. And then I wanted just to add this bonus in, because it was something that I was talking to a very good friend of mine this morning, and we were having this chat about the chatter that goes on in your head. And you know when you get really good ideas, and then somebody comes along in your mind and says, that's crap, that's rubbish. Sorry, I said use that word again, haven't I? Oh well. But you know when somebody comes and says, that's a really rubbish idea. You got that voice in your head? Nobody's going to like that. They're all going to hate that idea. Who do you think you are? No? I'm the only one? I like to call him Bob. There's no Bobs in the room, is there? So I like to call this guy Bob. It's like when you're having an idea, you're sitting with your board of directors in your head and thinking about your next marketing plan, whatever it is that you might be launching a new product or a new program, and you're having that conversation around this is what the idea is. And everyone's like, well, we need to think about this, and we need to do this. Bob comes along and says, oh, it's all rubbish. It's not going to work. You've tried this before. It's not going to work. You best not even try. You best not even start. How many times do we get stuck in that rabbit hole of thinking all the things that could go wrong with a new product or a new idea for your business? Maybe some time wasted? Yeah, so I see some heads nodding. It can actually be really dangerous for ourselves and our sanity, never mind anything else, but for our own sanity. As business people, one of the great things that we get to do in our businesses is create. It actually create stuff out of nothing and have people value that and pay you for it. But going back to my earlier point about you just got to create and create and create. And some of the stuff's going to work and some of the stuff isn't going to work. Some of the stuff's going to stick and some of the other stuff is just going to go bomb. I know, I've been there, done that. You know, things that I thought were really great ideas and then nobody wanted to buy and you think, oh, okay, that's fair enough. But the problem is, every time you listen to Bob and give him more, what's the word I'm looking for, more fuel, then he just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you're actually paying a lot more attention to Bob than you need to. And rather than trying to shut him up, or shoot him, or whatever it is that you want to do to him, or shut the door on him, is actually just acknowledge him and say, okay, Bob, we heard you, move on. But actually, when you listen to Bob over and over and over again, he can be a real time waster and a real time drainer. And the reason why I called them the time and money drainers is that every single one of those minutes that you're losing because you're taking too long or you're getting lost on Twitter or Facebook, you're losing money. And that really is what it comes down to. So when I sit down at 10 o'clock in the morning and I think I've got until 1 o'clock before I pick up my little boy from creche, every single minute that gets wasted doing whatever it might be, that's a wasted time, and that's where I'm not actually creating revenue and creating something of value in my business. Oh, sorry, Nuala. Yes. Yep.
And then there's a very good book, and I'm sure most people know it here, around that, the Four Agreements.
Oh, yes.
Four Agreements totally on that subject,
Mm.
the stories we tell ourselves. Thank you for a small little book, but it's a great book.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
That's the Four Agreements.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a good recommendation there from Nuala. Absolutely. The stories that we tell ourselves. It's not going to work. You've tried this before. You've been here before. And it just goes on and on and on and on and on. Have you ever had those moments where you just think, oh, and you just want to jack it all and just go back to bed? Or just get out? Yeah, we all have those. So, things that I wanted to really kind of, I suppose, share with you this evening was really around why I do believe that time is not the problem. As a mum of two, my husband's trying to persuade us to have more children. We're debating and we're negotiating still. But if we do have more children, my time is going to get really shrunk. So this is something that I'm really cognizant of in my business. I'm building up all my revenue streams to be very mindful of the fact that in order for me to be able to live the life that I want, to be able to have the family life that I want, my business has to really support me and nurture me and nourish us as a family. So I'm always thinking, how am I going to make this work? How am I going to make this work? Time is not going to be something that I'm going to get more of. It's actually going to be something that shrinks for me. So what I really learned in my journey of tiny time, big results is that it's not actually the time that's the problem. It's where my focus is. It's what I'm actually doing with that time. And this is something that I believe really powerfully. I really am such a big advocate of this belief that where your focus goes, your energy goes. And if you're focusing on the big wins in your business, if you're simplifying your business to actually really help you create amazing results in a few key areas, not trying to do everything, not trying to diffuse your attention and do 100 different projects. Example from my corporate career, I remember one of our divisions in the company that I worked for, they had 130 priorities on their list one year. And I remember looking at the head of department, I said, you've got 130 priorities. How well are you doing on that list right now? And says, we've looked at 5. And it was like, we'll get there, we'll get there. And I said, you're just setting yourself up for complete and utter failure. And then a couple of years later, we actually really revamped how we did goal setting for the whole company of 5,000 people. And we actually said, we're going to focus on 10 things for everybody. 10 things for the CEO. 10 things that was going to cascade down to everybody else. And if your goals didn't fit into one of those 10 items, it got scrapped. It wasn't part of the big picture. And this is what I would really encourage you to do in your business, is go back and have a look at where are you putting your energy? Where are you putting your attention? Where are your revenue generating activities? Are you doing some things in your business that are nice to do's, but they're not creating the income that you want, and actually it's more of a drain? Sometimes we get into those traps where we think, well, I've got to keep on doing that. No, go back, have a real considered look at your business model and think about where am I spending my time. And I've had to do that myself in my business. There's been things that I've been really passionate about and really close to because I've nurtured it and I've created it and I really want it to do well. And you think, actually, that's just not going to work. So I would really encourage you to do that. And I want to just share with you 3 simple ways to make your time super productive and super profitable. These are very simple things that you can do when you go back into your business. Priceless precision. It's kind of just piggybacks on the point that I was just making then about your focus. Be really clear, and I'm talking crystal clear. And this is something that really halted my progress, was I was trying to do too much. I was trying to look after too many different types of people and different types of customers and clients, and it just didn't work. So be really clear about exactly what you're trying to achieve and what you want to build in your business. Block time. So my example of writing 4 blog posts in a block. And the reason why I recommend this is that different tasks like admin, bookkeeping, your accounts, creating content, they all take different types of energy. And what you don't want to be doing is in creation mode and then switching to admin mode, because that takes too much energy to go from that shift, from one energy shift to another. So instead, say today is going to be my creativity day, and block that. tomorrow is going to be my admin day and I'm just going to do all of those horrible admin things that I really just can't find time to do. But I promise you that's going to actually release a whole lot of energy for you, and you'll feel a lot more enthusiastic when you know that you're going to be dedicating specific time for specific tasks. And then the third one, really important, re-energize. How many of you take regular breaks, regular fresh air breaks, or are you just sitting there in front of the computer tapping away? Too many. Yeah, absolutely. And this is something that I really struggled with because I thought, I've only got 3 hours, I just need to go and do. And actually, do you know what? Going for 3 hours is not going to fuel me. So I might go out into the garden, just get a 10-minute coffee break and just enjoy, getting the fresh air, go for a walk. Do something that's going to allow you to re-energize. Have a green smoothie. Have something that's really going to help you to replenish your physical energy, your mental energy, your emotional energy, and your spiritual energy. You have to re-energize. If you're going to be in this business for the long haul, if you're going to have a business that's sustainable and that you're not going to burn out, this is key. This is absolutely critical. And this is a really simple way of making sure that your time is super productive and super profitable. Any thoughts on any of those? Who's going to go and have a 10-minute coffee break now? Okay, so we've got 2 minutes left, is it, Johnny?
Yeah, around that.
Yep, okay, so we're just going to finish up. I'll take any questions that you might have. If you've enjoyed what I've shared today, then I would love for you to come over to jasminevorajee.com. And I've got a free 10-day challenge where I'll be giving you some amazing productivity tips and ideas. So if you'd like to get access to that free challenge, then just simply put your name and email on here, and I will add you to that and give you access to that. So it's just a free challenge, so I'll just put that there. You can join me every Tuesday at 11:30 in the morning for a Google Hangout. I just do 15-20 minutes session every week, and you can just dial in from wherever you are, really. If you join the challenge, or if you come over to jasminevorajee.com and you get my weekly newsletter, you'll actually get told about what the Google Hangout's going to be on, so you can see if that topic's going to be good for your business. And then you can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+. Google my name and you'll find me. So I will take any questions, and thank you so much for having me here today, and thank you for participating. I've really enjoyed this. So hopefully you will now all be powered up and fired up to go and create amazingly big results from your tiny time. So thank you very much. Yes?
Would you be kind enough to explain what a Google Hangout is, please?
Absolutely, yes. Google Hangout is a way to, the simplest way I can describe it is like having your own TV station. So if you're on Google, you can join up to Google+, and when you go onto your browser, you'll be able to see a little Google+. It's like a little, it's the 9, I'm looking at Leon here, the 9, oh, you started using it. If you type in Google Hangout, it basically means that I can set up a Google Hangout and I can just broadcast live to the world. And that's it. It's really that simple.
How do we tune into you? Is there a URL or just search for you then?
So if you go onto my website, jasminevorajee.com, and you join the 10-day challenge, so you can do that here by giving me your email address here, or you can go onto my website. And then each week I send out a newsletter and I give you the URL for my Hangout. So essentially what happens is you basically just click the link and you can watch me broadcast live, and then once the broadcast is finished, the video then gets uploaded to YouTube automatically. So you can then watch the recording if you can't make it live. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it's just one way, it's just you talking.
You can have it other ways as well. You can have guest speakers as well, yeah. It's a new technology and it's great. Yeah, there's lots of new technology. That's also another thing that you have to do, is to be really mindful about where you're spending your time.
And it's free.
It is free, yes. Yes. Any other questions? No?
What are the, I know you use a lot of technology online. What are the resources that you would find saves you the most time? Because if you're condensing your time, what the online resources you're
Well, I'm a big advocate of online because that's really how I get to kind of spread the message around what it is that I do. Some of the things that I do, I use Audacity a lot, and that's a free recording software, free audio recording software. So I record all my tips and my content, all the audio on that, and then I can just upload that to Amazon storage. That's something else that I use a lot of. My database system is Infusionsoft, so I have all my contacts, my customer relationship management, all in one place in Infusionsoft. I use some productivity apps that you can get, and there's like so many productivity apps that you can get for your phone. I've now just got a new Samsung phone, so I haven't quite figured them out on the Samsung. I was so good on the iPhone, but now I need to figure it out on the Samsung. But for me, I think Rescue Me is the one that you mentioned. Is it Rescue Time? That's something that I really want to have a look at, and Leon had just mentioned that recently, and that really helps you to track where you're spending your time as well. So that's another good one that I want to check out. But I would just say, with technology, I completely agree with your point. There's so much of it that just use it sparingly for what you need. So the things that I use all the time. I also use Instant Teleseminar for my webinars, and I've used GoToWebinar. I'm going back to Instant Teleseminar. Try it out. If it doesn't work, go back to what you like.
So what do you actually do, Jasmine? Do you give advice via online?
Yes.
At a price, at a membership?
Yes, so there's different ways that people can work with me. So I have one-off masterclasses where for an hour I'll share content on strategies around a particular topic. So examples of the ones that I've recently done is how do you get things done when you've got kids hanging off your legs? What do you do if your family isn't supportive of you and your business? So there's different masterclasses that I do. I have the Members Club, which is £9.99 a month, and that's where you actually get access to my content, but in the email format. I also have VIP private coaching, so that's one-on-one coaching with me. And I also have online programs as well. So my recent program that I've launched is called Baby Proof Your Business. So for women who are expecting a baby or planning a baby, and they've got their own business, but how they baby proof their business. It's essentially around the tiny time, big results philosophy about how you can actually get more done. So the key things that I really would focus on is things around how you can conquer the chaos in your business by having clear structures, being really clear about where you're working in your business. So I'm a bit of an evangelist about this, but I'm really passionate about making sure that people know exactly what their niche is and who they're aiming their marketing at. Because if you're not getting great results in your business, chances are you're just trying to appeal to too many different people. And I'm an evangelist about this because I fell into that same trap. So now I'm very clear about what my niche is and who my target market is. So that's kind of like a flavour. So people can work with me at different levels. So you can go up to the high-end level of working with me privately, or you can be part of my members club, or just join a class if you think that that's going to be of use to you, that particular content.
Do you find that your members are permanent members, or is there a fluctuating audience, or depending on what advice you give, or what
I find that, yeah, and I find it fluctuates based on whatever's going on for them right now. To be truthful, I don't worry too much about the fluctuations because I know that the people who like what they're getting will stay. And if it's not right for them, just the same as I do with other people, if it's not right for me, then go and put your energy somewhere else. And I think that's really important, is don't get hung up about the people. Like if you've got a database system and you've got people who are unsubscribing from your newsletter, for example, I used to get really upset about that. Oh, what did I say? What did I do? Why did you go? And now I just think, well, you know what? It just obviously wasn't right for them. And if they leave, they're obviously never going to work with you. So you just say good luck. It took me a long time to get to that point where I say good luck. I was always really annoyed. But then I went, listen, nature abhors a vacuum, as my mentor told me. So she says, when somebody goes, somebody else will come. Any other questions?
I have a tiny technical question if you use Instant Teleseminar.
Yes.
Do they have an Irish dial-in number or just UK ones? I didn't
Just
think
UK.
so. Just checking that.
I know, yeah. But I have Vodafone for my home line, and I get free UK calls. So that's how I get around that. think that's the end. Yep.